So, it's around 11 a.m. Palestine time, and I'm making hummus. Look at these amazing chickpeas being cooked as we speak. It's quite a long process, but for some reason I really wanted to have hummus today, so I decided to make it. And it's interesting because I didn't realize it, but it's kind of symbolic of what I wanted to talk about in this video, because it has to do with a process that I've been going through, which is embracing my Palestinian identity. So I will talk about this more later, but the real reason that I wanted to do this video is that, well, I haven't been active on social media and on YouTube for a while now, let's say like 2 months. And it wasn't on purpose. There's no plan here. But I want to explain what happened. As much as I understand it, I don't fully understand what is going on with my own psyche. But I want to try to explain what happened, what has been going on with me in the last, let's say, 2 months, what is going on with me now, and what my plans are for the future. I got a lot of messages from people asking what's going on, where have you disappeared to? We are waiting for a new episode of the podcast. And yesterday, Elik sent me a link to YouTube, and it was a new video uploaded by a creator called Indie Nile. So Indie, I-N-D-I-E, Nile, N-I-L-E. They're Palestinian, Lebanese, Italian, drag artists living in the Netherlands. I became aware of their existence just recently. Haven't managed to watch too much, but what I watched is pretty good, so go give them a follow on Instagram, on YouTube, watch their content. And apparently they uploaded a new video called Leaving the Cult of Zionism. I haven't had a chance to watch the entire video yet, but it seems really interesting, really well made. And apparently Elik and I, our podcast appears there a lot. So they say that they really like what we do, and they used a lot of our content in their long video. It's over an hour long, and this kind of reminded me that what I do, what Elik and I do, it makes a difference. And why am I telling you this? Because one of the main reasons that I haven't been uploading, I didn't go on Instagram too much. I wasn't answering messages. I kind of felt like I couldn't do any of it for a while. You can call it depression, you can call it avoidance, you can call it laziness. I don't know what it is exactly, but I know that everything was too much. I started this video from me making hummus. And I said that this was symbolic, and it's symbolic in many ways because 100 kilometers from where I am, maybe 150 kilometers from where I am, I'm in Haifa right now. Haifa is an occupied city. It is a city in the land of Palestine. This is a fact. This land, the land between the river and the sea, is called Palestine. And Haifa is a city in Palestine. But there is an occupation of Palestine. This occupation, the name of the project that this occupation is part of, is Zionism. So it's Zionist occupation of Palestine. And the Zionist occupation of Palestine decided to call this land between the river and the sea, decided that the name of this land is not Palestine, but Israel. They formed a state, which is an imaginary structure that does not exist, not physically. The land of Palestine exists. This is just a name that we give to something that exists. It is a land. It is just a part of the earth. And here is the land of Palestine, you see? This is the ground and the plants and the trees. This is a Palestinian tree. These are Palestinian plants. This is a Palestinian valley. This is the beach of Palestine. This is the Mediterranean Sea, the part of it that connects with the land of Palestine. Here is Muki. He is a cat. And Muki was born in Palestine. Weren't you, Muki? You were born in Palestine, right? So Muki is a Palestinian cat. And I was also born in Palestine. They told me, ever since I was born, they told me that I was born in Israel. But I wasn't. That was a lie. I was born in Palestine. And as far as I understand it, that makes me Palestinian. So I've been thinking about this a lot in the last few months, and especially in the last few weeks, more and more and more. And I've been speaking more and more and more with Palestinians. And I found myself asking for their permission to call myself Palestinian. They usually say, yeah, sure, why not? But why do I feel the need to ask for permission? Because Palestinian means a lot of things. The word can mean something very, neutral and objective. This is the land of Palestine. Anyone born in the land of Palestine is Palestinian. And you know what? Until a few decades ago, until let's say 100 years ago, this was just what it meant. Like, you were born in Palestine, you're Palestinian. You moved to Palestine and you've been living here for a long time, you're Palestinian. You feel a connection to the place, you're Palestinian. You want to live here with all the rest of the people living here in peace, equally, and in cooperation with the land, with the animals in the land, with the plants in the land, with the people who are a kind of animal in this land? Sure. Why not? Yalla. Tfaddal. Come, live here. Doesn't matter if you're Jewish, if you're Muslim, if you're Christian, if you're atheist, where you came from, what is your heritage. It doesn't matter. Come, live here. Why not? We have no borders. We don't police what you want to do. Come, live with us. Why not? I'm not saying it was like this idyllic place. I don't know the history. I'm sure there were conflicts. I'm sure there were disagreements. I'm sure there was violence. I'm sure. But it wasn't like this. It wasn't like this. There wasn't a genocide going on. So I started a thought. I'm going to finish this thought. This subject is so complicated, you cannot finish a single thought without having like 10 other thoughts mixed into it. So 100 to 150 kilometers away from where I am in Haifa, the Palestinian city of Haifa. There is another Palestinian city. The name of that city is Gaza. It also is on the coast of the same Mediterranean Sea, on the same side. It's the same coastline. So the city of Gaza, which gives its name to the Gaza Strip. And the Gaza Strip is a very much made up construct. And the name for this construct, the kind of construct that it is, let's say, a concentration camp, let's say a reservation, something like that. But just factually, it is an area that was delineated by the Zionist project. It is a result of the Zionist project, and it basically means the area where the Zionist settlers managed to push out much or a certain fraction of the indigenous local Palestinian population. They pushed them out and they concentrated them in this area, and then along the years those people, they wanted to come back to their homes, they wanted to come back to their land, to where they were born, to where they lived, to where their parents were born, to where their grandparents were born. And the more they wanted to come back, the more violence they were met with. And until around a year ago, the situation was that this Gaza Strip was defined by a huge wall that was built around it. And on this wall, all the time were guards, and those guards were Israelis, that is, settlers who are part of the colonial project of Zionism that took over Palestine, that occupied Palestine. So guards were set there, and they would shoot, injure, kill, threaten, make sure that all the inhabitants of this concentration camp could not come back to their land, could not step out of Gaza. And every once in a while, they would respond to their violent attempts to come back to their land, to their terrorist actions, by bombing the shit out of them. And this culminated in the ongoing genocide. The genocide, it's a long process, okay? It's a long process. It's an ongoing thing that has been happening, as I told briefly now, for decades and decades and decades. And the culmination of it is what we see in the last 10 months, which is the actual, official genocide. This has been officially recognized as a genocide all over the world by international courts, by experts, by experts of the Holocaust, historians who research genocide, the subject of genocide and the Holocaust, by Jewish Israeli experts. For example, Raz Segal, who is a professor, who is just an expert in the subject of genocide and the Jewish Holocaust. He said this is also a genocide. This is a textbook case of genocide. But the people here who are part of the Zionist cult, the Zionist colonial project, they do not recognize it as such. They say This is not a genocide, this is something else. Look how complicated everything is. So, when I was born, and the point is that I am making hummus right now, but in this concentration camp called Gaza, 2 million people, over 2 million people, are suffering right now from nutritional insecurity. There are research projects around this. How many people are level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, level 5 of nutritional insecurity? This is very, we need to organize everything and say who is suffering from what level of nutritional insecurity so that we know what is going on. We're not going to change it, but we need to know what is going on. And then, of course, we need to deny it. So 2 million people are at some level of nutritional insecurity, and around 1 million people are suffering actual famine, actual starvation. People are dying. I don't know how many people are dying of starvation as we speak. Probably it's in the tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of people who are dying, literally dying of starvation right now, 100 to 100 kilometers away from where I am in Haifa, in Palestine. And I'm making hummus, which is a Palestinian dish. And this leads me to my own situation. I was born in Palestine, but I was born to a certain group of people, the group of people called Jews, called Israelis. And in the project of Zionism, there are certain classes of people, different classes of people with different rights and different different opportunities and different access to resources, including food. And in a piece of paper, a laminated piece of paper, very official, with all the stamps and the symbols, called my passport, and another piece of paper called my identity card. It says on my passport, Israel, and it says on my identity card, Israel, and it says on my identity card, nationality, Jewish. And that allows me to enjoy certain rights and opportunities which other people cannot enjoy. And the people who live in Gaza, they cannot enjoy these opportunities. Why? Because they were not born to the right group of people. If you think about it for more than a second, if you think about any of this for more than a second or two in a clear way, in a way that is logical, you will see how insane this is. You will see how completely detached from reality, completely detached from the basic values that supposedly we all believe in are. And I do not agree with all of this. I do not agree with all of this. I do not want all of this to happen. If they ask me, I would say dismantle it right now completely. And this dismantlement includes redistribution of resources, it includes reparations, it includes right of return, it includes a lot of things. But they don't ask me. They don't ask me. They do it in spite of me. They do it in spite of many, many, many people. Most people are not asked about this. It is done in the interest of a certain group of people. You can talk about this forever. But they don't ask me. But still, I must acknowledge that this is the case. I must acknowledge that they said, those people, this project defined me as a part of the group of Israelis, of Jewish Israelis. And therefore, I enjoy certain rights and opportunities that other people do not enjoy. Other people who were born here, just like me, do not enjoy. So the word Palestinian, it can mean something very neutral, like it meant until the Zionist project started. Someone who was born in Palestine, someone who lives in Palestine, someone who feels a connection to Palestine, the land between the river and the sea. That's it. Very simple. Nothing problematic here. But now it means something else. Now it means a person who is part of the oppressed class of people, the oppressed group of people, who do not enjoy the opportunities and the rights of those that I enjoy as part of the group of Jewish Israelis. So this is a part of the discussion, the political, historical, social, socio-economical discussion of colonialism, of settler colonialism, and indigenous people so the Palestinians are the indigenous people of the land of Palestine, as opposed to the settler colonialists, the Jewish Israelis. So this word now has a lot of political meaning. So this is why I feel the need to ask for permission from other actual Palestinians to call myself Palestinian and to embrace my Palestinian identity. Again, very, very weird. But, so many of you might have heard Elik's song that he wrote, just an anthem of Palestine, a song for Palestine. Palestine, oh Palestine, by calling for your freedom, I will set me free. That is the chorus of this song. And this song has been going through my mind ever since Elik played it to me for the first time, which was many months ago. I'm probably the first person who heard this song, and I feel proud for it, because I think it's an amazing song that carries a lot of meaning. And a few months ago, we were again in Haifa with some friends, Dan and Ayelet. And Ayelet is an amazing singer and musician. And Elik was singing this song with Ayelet. And I was looking out the window, and I saw a tree. I saw this tree a few times before when I was visiting Dan and Ayelet. And this is also a Palestinian tree. And while we were singing this song, and I was crying because it was a spiritual experience, I saw the sun glistening on the leaves of this tree through the window. And this might seem crazy to you, but it doesn't. I know that this happened. I heard Palestine speaking to me through this tree, through the sun glistening on the leaves of this tree. And Palestine was saying to me, you are my child. You belong in Palestine. You are Palestinian. And I don't want to ask for permission anymore. I feel Palestinian. My story, my family history. So I have a grandfather who was born in Poland, and his entire family was killed by the Nazis in the Second World War, and he had to escape. He was a child of only 5 years old, and he was living in the forest. I heard some stories about this, although he didn't really want to tell a lot about this. He had a hard time with this. And he had to escape, and he came to Palestine. I think he called it Palestine then. They called it Palestine, Israel, and kind of switched around. Now they don't want to call it Palestine anymore. When I started the video and I said, it's 11 a.m. Palestine time. This is very, this is a political statement, calling it Palestine time. They would call me a traitor for just saying this. This is Palestine time. So my grandfather escaped here because he had nowhere else to go. This was not his fault. He had nowhere else to go, and he built a life here, and I have zero criticism for him. Zero. He did what he had to fucking do. It's not his fault that the Zionist project existed. It's not his fault that the Nazi project existed. It's not his fault. He was in a situation. He had to do what he had to do to survive and to thrive. Him personally, I have no criticism for. And he was a good man. He was a good man. He didn't want to harm anyone. But the Zionist project brainwashed him. And then through the years, he started hating the Arabs, the Palestinians, more and more and more. And we had a lot of arguments about this like 20 years ago, you know. His wife, my grandmother, she was born here in Palestine. She is also Palestinian. She would not acknowledge this. When I tell her, you are Palestinian, she would be, what do you mean? No, I'm not Palestinian. What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean? You're crazy. But she was born in Palestine, and her grandparents came here from Belarus. What is now a town in Belarus. They also had to escape hardships. And they started a settlement here in next to the Jordan River. When they say the river, from between the river and the sea, the river is the Jordan River. And this settlement is called Mishmar Yarden. So the guard of the Jordan River. And I recently found out that her grandfather, who was one of the founders of this settlement, cooperated with the grandfather of another important figure in Zionism. His name is Moshe Feiglin, and he is one of the people that I hate the most in the world. Moshe Feiglin, maybe you heard of him, maybe you saw some Nazi-like quotes from him. So the grandfather of Moshe Feiglin started the settlement of Mishmar Yarden with my grandmother's grandfather. How interesting. How interesting. Moshe Feiglin is also Palestinian. Moshe Feiglin, you are Palestinian. Now, come at me, bro. Come at me. You're Palestinian. You haven't embraced your Palestinian identity, but you are Palestinian. In Israel, we don't use the word Palestinian. No. The Palestinians do not exist. Palestine does not exist. It's all a great big lie. We use Arabs. And Arab is a curse word in Israeli society. If you call someone Aravi, if you call a Jewish person Aravi, it's a curse word. But I am also Aravi. I am also Arab. Because my grandmother, my father's, so these were my mother's parents, who came from Poland and Belarus originally. And my grandmother was born in Damascus. My father's mother was born in Damascus. And I just got a message the other day from one of my followers on Instagram, and she is Syrian, and she was also, her family is also from Damascus. And she sent me this video of a Jewish home in Damascus. And she asked, maybe these were the neighbors of your grandmother's family. And this morning I sent my father this video. My father also is a Zionist, but my father is not as brainwashed as other people. He knows, when I speak with him, I feel like he knows that I am speaking the truth, but he is very resistant to this. He cannot accept what I'm saying. But he knows that I know what's going on, and he knows that I have the best intentions, and he knows that he cannot argue with me whenever I say, when I speak about non-human animal rights, when I speak about veganism, he's already saying, yes, you are right, you are right, you are right. I cannot argue with you anymore. Of course you are right. You are just a better person than I am, so I continue eating meat, I continue eating dairy, I continue eating eggs, but you are right. On the more complicated, I don't know if it's really complicated, issue of Palestinian identity and the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, he cannot admit that I'm right. Yet. We'll see. So I sent him this video, and I asked him, what was the surname of my grandmother's family over there? And why do I not know? Because this identity was erased. It was erased. They took away, the Zionist project took away my identity. It took away a lot of things from me. But it also took away my identity. My Syrian identity. And I asked him, because they say that the name of, I don't remember now, but they say the name of the family that used to live in that house in Damascus, a Jewish house in Damascus. And he said, yes, apparently, nothing here is certain, we don't really know. Everything, all the memories were erased, My grandmother's sister was married to someone who was an anesthesiologist, a doctor, in Damascus, and his name was, that name I don't remember, I can check, I can leave a comment with the name, and she was married to a person with the same name. Maybe this was their house. Maybe this was their house. And one of my followers who followed me because I'm an anti-Zionist, because I went against Zionism, sent me this video, and now I know maybe a little bit more about my own history. Look how going against Zionism helped me just slightly resist the erasure of my own identity and history by the Zionist project. So, there is a cat. This is another Palestinian cat. His name is Benny. Benny, after the town of Binyamina, where he was born. So Binyamina is another town in Israel, a city in Israel. But it's actually in Palestine, right? So Benny is also Palestinian. We joke, me and my girlfriend joke that we call him Ben Gvir, Benny Gvir. Ben Gvir, you are also Palestinian. Ben Gvir, Itamar Ben Gvir, you are also Palestinian. So Aravi is a curse word. Arab is a curse word. But I am Aravi. My grandmother was born in Syria. She made me Syrian food when I was growing up. She was one of the best cooks that I ever knew, and I loved her food. When I became vegan, she made vegan versions. It took a few years until she got used to this, that her grandson does not eat her food anymore because it's meat, you know. So she started making vegan versions of kube. Kube is like, let's say, like the Syrian version of empanada, of wonton. It's a pocket of dough filled with meat. So she made vegan versions of kube, and she made a vegan version of hamod. Hamod is so hamod means sour. Chamutz in Hebrew, sour. So it's a sour soup. It's amazing. I get hungry just thinking about this. It's with potatoes and celery, and onion and parsley. It's amazing, and a lot of lemon. Like you take 10, 20 lemons and you squeeze it into the soup, one pot of soup. And also it contains like meatballs, but she would make it without meatballs for me when I became vegan. I really loved her food, and the food is Arab. It is Arab food. It is Syrian food. Syrian is Arab. My grandmother, her native language was Arabic. She would not speak Arabic anymore with us, because it was a great shame to speak Arabic when Jews spoke Arabic here in Palestine, in occupied Palestine, in the framework of the Zionist project. So my dad told me, yes, they had to escape. My grandmother's family had to escape from Damascus. And this is one of the arguments that my dad uses. He says, they treated us so poorly, we had to escape. What do you want us to do? The Zionist project saved us. You know, I sympathize with this again, like I sympathize with my grandfather's story. So there is an argument. Avi Shleim is, I think he's an Iraqi, a Jewish Iraqi historian, and he claims that the reason that the Jews in the Middle Eastern countries like Syria, like Iraq, had to, and like Lebanon, had to escape was because of Zionism, was because of the turmoils of the Zionist project. I don't know history that well. But the point is that all of this nonsense, all of this country nonsense, all of this state nonsense, all of this separation into different groups, all of this nonsense is what led to all the violence, all of this racism, all of this nationalism. It led to the violence, and Zionism is just a part of this. It's different groups of people who were divided according to the interests of the people in power, fighting against each other for resources. So yeah, and let's finish the story. My father's father, he was born in Zafed. He is also Palestinian. And his family lived in Zafed for many generations. But they were originally from Iran, from the Shiraz area in Iran. I don't know, does that make me Farsi? Part Farsi, part Syrian, part Russian, part Polish, and 100% Palestinian because I was born here. So you see how complicated the situation is. And when you start thinking like this, when you start talking like this, when you start challenging the narrative of the Zionist project, of the Zionist cult, of the Zionist occupation of Palestine, you start getting a lot of pushback. A lot of pushback. Many of you might have heard of the arguments that I've been having with my family. I haven't talked to my sister and my brother-in-law and my niece for months now. This is very painful. We don't have family dinners anymore. We didn't celebrate Passover like we did every year until this April. I didn't get birthday wishes from my sister. There is a rift in my family. My father is very upset about this. My mother is very upset about this. I am very upset about this. My sisters are upset about this, but I don't know what to do. They don't want me to speak about the genocide. They don't want me to speak about Gaza. They don't want me to speak about the Palestinians. They want to deny and deny and deny. And this is one coping mechanism. And my brother-in-law is very much inside the Zionist project. He's not mild about it. He supports the genocide actively. He participated in the genocide by putting on the olive uniform. I saw him in the olive uniform. How ironic, right? That the color of the uniform of the Zionist army is olive colored. Olive trees are the most symbolic of the Palestinian liberation struggle. How ironic. Another thing that the Zionist project appropriated, like hummus. And you know, I used to hate hummus. I did not like it. Why? Because the hummus that I used to have came in a plastic container, and it was akhla, hummus akhla. Akhla. Another appropriated Arabic word that means awesome. Akhla. Hummus akhla. It is an Israeli company, still exists today. It's one of the most famous brands of hummus, of like industrial hummus. And it's full of preservatives. And it's, fake. It's fake. And this is what I was fed as a child. So I thought that I didn't like hummus. But then I tried the real hummus. I went to Jaffa and I went to Abu Hassan, a restaurant, Hummusiya, a hummus restaurant in Jaffa, which is owned by a Palestinian family, an Arabic family, Abu Hassan. It was founded by Ali Karwan, who was probably one of the biggest, the best masters of hummus in the world. And when I tried hummus, well, more precisely masabaha, which is hummus mixed with warm chickpeas, in Abu Hassan, I realized that I loved hummus. What I didn't like was preservatives. What I didn't like was the industrial taste of the industrial hummus akhla. So how the colonialist projects appropriate things and then resell it to you in a fake version, which is not as good, which is not as connected to the earth. And I had another experience in Abu Hassan a few months ago. I was sitting there and eating sabaha and enjoying my time there, like always. And then I saw a Palestinian boy, probably 18 years old. I will tell you how I knew that he was 18 years old. How did I know it? Because he was wearing an olive uniform, and he didn't have any ranks on his arm. So he was just drafted to the Zionist army. a Palestinian boy drafted to the Zionist army. And he is part of this family, the Abu Hassan family, the Ali Karwan family. Obviously, he was talking to the people working there. Why no? This is what the Zionist project did. They made the Palestinians, some of them, cooperate with them because they told them, if you do not cooperate with us, you will suffer. If you cooperate with us, if you integrate into society, into Israeli society, you will get the benefits. So this was one of the most shocking and horrifying moments of my life, to see a Palestinian boy wearing these olive uniforms and getting the support of his family, because they realized that they cannot fight the Zionist occupation, that they must cooperate. This boy is now part of the machine that is doing a genocide against his own people. The atrocious ironies of occupation, of colonialism. So, why did I have such a hard time doing anything in the last 2 months? So I was busy, I was moving to Haifa, I was busy. I had a lot of things on my mind, I didn't have enough time. Alec is not here, Alec is now in the US doing some cool shit around the US, meeting Palestinian people in exile, and connecting with them. Shout out to Ahmed, shout out to Khader. We love you. So without Alec, it's really hard. It's very lonely living in occupied Palestine, inside Zionist society, as an anti-Zionist, as a pro-Palestinian, as a Palestinian wannabe. It's very hard, it's very lonely. It's very difficult to find like-minded people. And I found Elik. And with Elik, we did some amazing things. And now he is not here. I hope he will come back soon. Elik, please come back soon, please. I know it's hard, but please come back soon. I need you. So it was hard for me to continue the momentum of doing stuff. And this whole thing made me sink back to the depression, to the apathy that I know so well. The depression, the apathy that I always thought was my own fault. I am just lazy, I'm a coward. All I do is avoid everything. I cannot operate in society. I cannot blah 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 blah. But now I know that this depression, that this avoidance is a result of me not finding my place in this cult of lies, of oppression, of egoism, of jingoism, of nationalism, of religious fanaticism, of violence, of murder, of genocide, of suicide, because what the Zionists are doing now is suicidal. It is the end of the Zionist project, which is good news. But the end of the Zionist project is going to be very, very, very violent. Might drag us into a third world war. This is how violent it might be. So it's good news on one hand, maybe in the long term, but it's really horrible and scary, terrifying news on the short term. And we see it happening right now. Tens of thousands of people, maybe hundreds of thousands of people have already been murdered in Gaza. So it's very lonely and hard living here. And I sunk back into the depression, into the apathy, into the avoidance, into the denial. Not really. I can't do it anymore. But for years, I shut up about all of this. I tried to talk to people, I tried to argue with people, I tried to yell at people, I tried to go to protests, I tried to do all kinds of stuff. Nothing worked. I didn't understand how resistant the Zionist cult was to any form of criticism. Now I see. Now I understand. But for years I didn't understand. I thought that I was the problem. I thought that I was just an angry person. Because that's what they tell you. They shame you for, you need to be polite, you need to be nice. Why are you so angry? Why are you shouting? The very same reactions that I would get when I tried to defend non-human animals from the Holocaust that they are going through. And this is what colonialists do. This is what supremacists do. They resist all attempts of actual discussion, and then when they get aggressive pushback, sometimes in the form of shouting, sometimes in the form of actual physical violence, like for example happened on October 7th, they start clutching their pearls and saying, "Oh no, how can you do this? How can you say this? You are a terrorist, you are a traitor, you are insane, you should be ashamed of yourself, you are aggressive, you are violent." I know this very well now. I don't fall for this anymore. But it still has an effect, and I'm still lonely. And I'm still depressed. But I will not let them win. And I want to remember how much what I do means something. And the best way to remember this is when Palestinians, actual Palestinians, tell me, yes, please continue. So thank you. Thank you to all the Palestinians who tell me, yes, please continue. What you're doing is good, please continue. I am listening, and I will continue. So, to all my followers on Instagram, on YouTube, you can expect some new content to come very, very soon. I wanted to talk. You know what? I will do another video. I will do another video where I talk more briefly about what has been happening, what is happening, and what will happen. But for now, I'm just glad that I did this, that I got all of this off my chest. I hope it was interesting. I hope it was illuminating. But it doesn't matter. I just want to say what I think. I just want to not be silent. I just want to be myself, and I just want to tell the truth. So the smell of cooking chickpeas is in my nose right now. It's spreading all around the house. So I'm gonna go finish making the hummus, and I hope that everyone who lives in Palestine, can have amazing hummus every single day. That no one will fear for their lives, that no one will experience violence, that everyone will live here together equally, that justice will be here. Not just peace, but justice. That everyone, all Palestinians, can live between the river and the sea and have hummus together every single day. We will sit and we will enjoy hummus and olive oil and pita and talk together about how to make this place an amazing place this can be. If you will it, it is not a legend. This is a quote from Herzl, one of the founders of Zionism. If you will it, it is not a legend. He was talking about the Zionist project. But let's say this about the project to free Palestine. If you will it, it is not a legend. We can make it happen. If we want, we can make it happen today. I'm not naive. I know it will not happen today. but I want to bring it as soon as possible. Okay guys, so on this note, I've been talking for almost an hour, but I hope it was interesting. So I'll see you later. Bye bye.